Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Capital Markets Quickie. Today is Monday, September 23rd. I'm your host, Endrit Cela, and today we've got a lot to unpack for the week ahead in the markets. From inflation data to the Fed's next moves and gold's stunning rally, there's plenty to keep an eye on. Just a quick reminder, everyone, today's episode is sponsored by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. They're your go-to provider for personalized investment solutions and mutual funds. For more details, visit amf-capital.de. All right, let's get into it. So, the big highlight this week is inflation. On Friday, we're getting the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures, PCE, price index for August. This will tell us if inflation is still cooling off now that the Fed has started easing back from its more restrictive policies. Economists are expecting a 2.5% rise year over year, and the Fed's forecast says we might see it down to 2.3% by the end of the year. So, yeah, this will be pretty key in telling us where things stand and if the Fed's moves have been working. Also, we've got a bunch of other reports lined up this week: consumer confidence, new and pending home sales, and durable goods orders. So, keep an eye on those. Now, let's talk about the Fed. We've got several Fed officials making public appearances this week, which means there's likely going to be a lot of discussion around last week's big rate cut. First up is Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic speaking today, followed by Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee. Then, Fed Governor Michelle Bowman will speak on Tuesday and again on Thursday. Bowman's comments are going to be particularly interesting because she was the first governor to dissent in a Fed decision since 2005. So her reasoning is definitely worth paying attention to. And of course the big one, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is speaking on Thursday at the U.S. Treasury Market Conference. Investors are going to be all ears to see how the Fed views its progress on reducing the balance sheet. Okay, so last week was pretty eventful. The Standard & Poor's 500 hit an all-time high after the Fed's 50 basis point rate cut, which kicked off the first U.S. monetary easing cycle since 2020. The index is up 0.8% for September so far, and it's already up 19% year-to-date. But here's the thing. This rally could be tested depending on how the economic data shapes up. If the numbers don't back up the idea that we're heading for a soft landing, where inflation cools but growth stays steady, we could see a bit of a shakeup in the markets. On the global side, we've got flash PMI data coming out starting today. This will give us a snapshot of how the global economy is doing. In the Eurozone, the composite PMI has been in growth mode for 6 months now, while the UK's is going on 10 months. Sterling's been pretty resilient because of this. However, over in Germany, things don't look as rosy. Business activity dipped further into contraction territory in August, and sentiment in Germany is still pretty weak. And of course, there's China. Their economy is struggling a bit, and they're at risk of missing their growth target of around 5% for the year. Finally, let's talk about gold. The gold market is on fire right now. We're seeing record highs with prices nearing $3,000 per ounce. Last Friday closed above $2,600, which is pretty wild. This surge is being driven by safe haven demand, with all the geopolitical and economic uncertainty out there. Low interest rates are a big factor here too, as gold becomes more attractive when rates are low. Some analysts are even saying we could see $3,000 per ounce by mid-2025. So if you're watching gold, this rally has some serious momentum behind it. Alright, that's your quick look at the week ahead in the markets. We've got a lot happening, so stay tuned, especially for that inflation data on Friday and all the Fed chatter throughout the week. Thanks for tuning in to Capital Markets Quickie. Don't forget, today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital. For investment solutions that work for you, check out amf-capital.de. I'll catch you all tomorrow morning for more updates. Have a great week ahead, everyone.